Welcome back, Science 7, to Lesson 2 of our Distance Learning series. Today, we're going to think about our driving question from yesterday and start to figure out how populations of organisms can change or evolve over time. This process is called natural selection. In this lesson, you're going to need a pencil, a printed or digital copy of today's journal slip, and your science journal. Pause this screencast now so that you can gather your materials. I want you to meet a population of fictitious organisms called Lithopodius nulla. These are simple animals that resemble a misshapen beetle. All of the creatures living in this desert-like area make up the Lithopodius population. In a moment, we're going to analyze a video that shows how the population of Lithopodius changes over time. We'll analyze the video 3 different times so that we can carefully identify the factors that cause the population to evolve. In the first viewing, I'll play the clip with the sound off and the captions off. As you watch, be observant. Look for all the ways that the Lithopodius population has changed from the beginning of the clip to the end of the clip. Record your observations in your journal slip under Viewing 1. Let's start the clip. So here's our population in the beginning. Record how this population looks or appears. You can see that the population is starting to change. It's further changing. We're nearing the end. Take a look at this end population. Okay, did you have a chance to record your observations? If not, take a moment to do so now. So in the beginning of the clip, we would say that the organisms looked different from each other. Some of the organisms were large, some were small, some were round and some were jagged, some were brightly colored and others were dull. Some looked like they had a bumpy texture while others looked smooth, and some moved really fast while others moved really slow. To summarize, we could say that the population had a lot of variety. In other words, no 2 organisms had exactly the same characteristics or traits. Are you writing some of this down for viewing number 1? By the end of the clip, though, the population had indeed changed. All the members seemed to look the same. They actually resembled their rocks or their surroundings of their sandy desert environment. Lithopodius had become an animal in disguise, just like our animals from yesterday. But what exactly caused this change to happen? The change didn't seem to happen right away. It took some time. Let's view the video a second time. This time, I want you to watch for what might be causing the population to become more specialized and resemble its background. Write your observations under Viewing 2. Here we go. Again, here's the start population. We're looking for what's causing the change over time? Starting to near the end. Again, you're looking for that cause. Okay, do you have your observations written down? If not, pause the screencast to do so before moving on. Did you figure out what caused the population to change? Yes, it was the predator that entered the environment. Every time the predator came in, it snatched up certain organisms, leaving others behind to reproduce. Those that escaped the predator survived long enough to reproduce and have offspring, babies that resembled them. As the predator kept coming back, some members kept surviving and reproducing. By the end, the population had evolved or changed to look like their surroundings. So, in order for populations to change, there needs to be what we call an environmental pressure. This pressure favors certain organisms to survive and not others. In this case, the environmental pressure was the bird-like predator that kept coming back again and again. Make sure that you have this written down for viewing number 2. But which organisms were favored to survive? In other words, which Lithopodius possessed the best combination of genetic traits helping them survive? When organisms have certain traits that give them an advantage for survival, we say that these organisms are best adapted to their environment. They're well suited to avoid the environmental pressure. We're going to watch a third time. I want you to identify those Lithopodius that are least adapted to their environment and those Lithopodius that are best adapted to the environment. Here we go. Here we are in the starting population. Our environmental pressure, our predator enters. Take note of which members are best and least adapted. Environmental pressure enters again. Pay close attention, which are best and least adapted. The predator enters a third time. Which are best and least adapted now? Have you finished writing? Pause the screencast if you need more time. So you probably observed that the big, colorful, fast-moving Lithopodius were the first ones to get eaten by the predator. In other words, they were the least adapted members of their environment, as their genetic traits did not enable them to survive. The predator spotted them right away. However, those Lithopodius that were smaller, slower, and resembled a sandy colored rock were able to escape the predator. These traits gave these members an advantage by helping them blend in with their surroundings and hide from the predator. These were the best adapted members of the population. So there you have it. A population can change over time. Hopefully, today's lesson is getting you closer to understanding how animals can come to look like their surroundings. What factors did we uncover today that are important for this process to happen? Look back over your viewings or re-listen to the screencast and come up with a list of factors, a list of things that are necessary to cause a population to change over time, and justify why you think so. For example, you might say that it is absolutely necessary to have an environmental pressure, like a predator in the environment. You might justify it by saying that the environmental pressure is what causes the population to become more specialized and build up favorable traits. Think of other factors that are really important for natural selection to occur and put them in your journal slip along with a justification. For today, though, please submit a copy of your journal slip. If you wrote out your responses, take a picture and submit it to Schoology. If you typed your responses directly into the slip, upload this digital version. Until tomorrow, keep thinking and keep learning.